Welcome to this edition of Inside the Academy Studio.
Today's conversation will be about Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan. This movie revolves around Nina Sayers, played by Natalie Portman, and her journey within the New York ballet system and her pursuit of playing the legendary Black Swan role in Tchaikovsky's Black Swan. And we see her go through many ups and downs.
Well, the ballet is actually called Swan Lake.
Swan Lake,
okay.
Yes, by playing the character of the White Swan and Black Swan.
Yes.
That is my co-host, and I am your host, and we're going to be touching upon some subjects here. Now, I think right away the movie emphasizes performance. It is about performance in ballet. It's about performing excellently. We see all these ballerinas try to excel, try to push their bodies to the limit. So in a movie about performance, how are the performances?
Dancing or acting?
Either or.
Alright. So very strong movie overall and that's because of the performances. Dancing, definitely they put a lot of focus in the dancing. You know, just like the fighter put a lot of focus into boxing. They really focus on. Natalie Portman put a lot into making sure she got all the ballet moves down, and they even even all the background actresses, they're all actual ballet, they're classically trained and everything. And and the performance, Natalie Portman, you could really see her descent through this movie from what seems to be just a pure innocent girl and to a corrupted, so more Black Swan at the end, and she definitely pulls it off believably.
Right. Natalie Portman talks about how she's always wanted to do a ballet movie, and then how her and Darren Aronofsky actually met years back discussing a different project, but eventually landed on this one. And I think you could really, after she made this role, she made it her own. You cannot see another actress play this role. There's many stories on set where she fractured some ribs, she hurt herself. She's really committed to this role. Really, very light, frail actress already. She lost some more weight, become more believable. It's a role, I think, a very physical performance. Now, I think Black Swan maybe did not have the best script or screenplay. It was a very physical, visceral performance. You saw it on the screen. You saw through her moves, through her emotions, that she was trying to portray this character really in evolution or evolving character. And another, I think, buzzworthy performance in this movie is Mila Kunis, who is primarily a television actress, a voice actor, and Family Guy.
Yeah.
And many are calling this her breakthrough performance. What did you think of Kunis's portrayal of Lily?
I think I haven't seen much of Kunis's work. I mean, I mainly just seen her in That 70s Show, I'll be honest. But yeah, I think she didn't really break through into a different type of role. She played a role that you kind of expected an actress like her to play, and as much as it sounds like stereotyping, but she played it well. I think one thing interesting about her character was, maybe in the promotional material she portrayed a more malevolent character, but I think once you actually saw the actual movie, she was portrayed more. She wasn't totally innocent, but she's very rational and reasonable to a point, actually, compared to, especially when you contrast it to Portman's character.
Right. You could argue that her Lily is the most likable character, right? When Lily does take Nina Sayers to that club, and we finally meet people from the outside world, she kind of normalizes with that fact, while Nina, played by Portman, is kind of astonished that these people don't know what Swan Lake is, what the world of ballet is. So she's very much the character that's kind of thrust into it. Now, was she ever real? That is some of the movie's mystique, or her actions or what she does. are ever real. I think that's a good point to go to. This movie had so many just buzzwords on its trailer, on its poster: psychosexual, thriller, drama. How do you classify this movie?
Oh man, I think it definitely has to be a thriller. I mean, I think if you're just going to classify it just strictly drama is more focused on the character and the plot. This one, yeah, like you said, it's a more visceral experience. It goes through emotions and it just forces the audience in, and it just really makes you experience. Like it's definitely more about the experience.
I think it's definitely experience. I recall when I was actually watching it this past December, I kind of kept saying to myself, psychosexual, and it was a very thrilling movie. I think it really story's built where it's almost like a roller coaster where you kind of just building up, and eventually you have the big drop, and literally in the movie there was a big drop at the end. But I think it was really a big thrill ride and one of the most thrilling movies I saw. And it was good to see it nominated for Best Picture and Director and Actress. Talking about the director, Darren Aronofsky is one of the better working directors. He's a person who really, makes these kind of weird movies. Not weird,
like like more psychological movies.
Exactly.
Like he really wants to delve into like the human nature.
I don't know. Yeah, I could say he does it very tight frames. He makes movies that are not supposed to be taken literally. Really looking at different parts of the character. How do you feel that Portman and Aronofsky helped each other, played off each other? Was it a good dynamic you felt, and did we see that on the screen?
Yeah, I think we saw that on the screen. It might have been true, but I like to think it was kind of like how Portman kind of, not totally to the full extent that we saw in the movie, but like how Portman had a relationship with the director of the ballet, right? Like they were just
Vincent Castle.
Yeah, like maybe he kept on pushing her, and then she kept on responding, and then maybe like this wasn't really much acting, but it was just like doing. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that the ballet director could be equated to an actor playing off a director of a film director, right? They challenge, they expect you to, have a breakthrough moment, a cathartic moment, and that's definitely a good equation. I know you were reading up a bit about the outside world reaction. Do you feel this is a film that will be good for the ballet industry?
I think it'll be good to the point that it'll help push like ballet. Like people will be more aware of it. That it's something that can be entertaining. Something that is like
that's not just a female driven.
For like
boring. Long things.
Like the main criticism I guess is that it's extreme, right? Like how like it's not a true portrayal of an average ballerina, like how her training goes.
Right.
It's really just sort of how this one ballet dancer is like. She could be doing anything, right? But she still be having these same experiences, though. It's just that she happens to be a dancer. I think that's the main point.
Right. I think that's true, and I think that leads to this next point where feminism and the Black Swan. I think Natalie Portman did say that she kept her voice very childish, kid-like, because in her training or preparation for this film, she had met many ballerinas who had almost childish voices. Baby is very quiet, and that she kind of tried to mimic that, and then eventually through her literal on-screen evolution to the Black Swan, she becomes more, fierce and piercing words, and that big thing. It's my role. I'm the Black Swan, right? Yeah, you kind of see that growth. So is it a not a good example, but is it an interesting example of showing feminine growth through her character?
Yes, I think it is, because I get where you're getting at. I think it's like saying she kind of does go through a very innocent child, like as she's portrayed, and then she just goes through like a rebellious adolescent thing, and then she just tries to assert independence, all in just a very short amount of time, right?
Right.
And I think it does go through that. It does go through that in the movie, yeah.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of this episode, and like we always do on Inside the Academy's studio, we like to finish off with questions. And the first question is obviously favorite moment within Black Swan.
Favorite moment? I think it has to be the final dance when she just totally embraces the Black Swan. Like that could have been a scene shot in 3D. I know I'm one of the few people who supports 3D movies on a larger extent, but I think this really could have explored 3D in a different angle than what we've seen in just cartoons and like.
I have to agree with you.
Movies.
The ending was my favorite moment. It was just a thrill to watch. You know, the sound, especially the music, the sound, the mixing of Tchaikovsky with the modern language. You hear the swan sounds. It was really a big rush watching it. You know, the interlay with the action and the events in her studio and her dressing room. It was really a scene that was bigger than life, captured on the big screen. Your least favorite moment?
Least favorite moment? I think it would have to be, you know, when towards the middle, when there was that. I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me, but it's like when there was the lesbian sex scene. I think it turned off a large segment of the movie, large segment from this movie, because people just assumed it was pandering to an audience. Which was, I guess it was because it was heavily advertised, but
right.
It wasn't really the main focus of the movie, no.
So you felt it kind of was put in there, but maybe not necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. My least favorite was, I guess, after Beth McIntyre, played by Winona Ryder, the older hand who was the primary leader of this ballet troupe before, is in the hospital, and Nina Sayers, played by Natalie Portman, comes to visit her, and then she kind of almost, you know, shocks her or like surprises her and says, "You think it's good now, but this is always going to happen to you." It was just, I don't know, I found the Beth character to be a little, you know, I think it's supposed to be mimicking the Betty Davis, the Gloria Swanson kind of Sunset Boulevard, all about Eve, you know, the old Mame Dame thing. I just did not enjoy that scene. Okay, and then we like to end off with word association. So when you think Black Swan, what word do you associate with it?
Nails.
Nails?
I mean, it can't be anything else.
Oh, mine. It's I think I really encapsulated the movie. It was psychosexual. Psychosexual. Okay, so the words we associate with Black Swan are nails and psychosexual. This has been another edition of Inside the Academy's studio.
Thank you.